Hello, hello, hello. Today we're going to go over some large scale warrior. I've been asked recently a lot about how to just large scale a warrior. How do you engage? How do you like find yourself to be useful? Oddly enough, there's a lot of warriors out there that are like, I say oddly enough, but like I know the struggle, but like a lot of people are realizing and learning that as they're trying to play warrior in different settings that involve large scale, he's not very optimal. His class, like the class is just not built for it. And that is unfortunate. Seriously, why does my fucking class suck dick? See, in 1v1s, our class is broken. Like our class is, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it, we're actually super fucking gas in 1v1s. But large scale, we are more or less useless. At least if you don't know how to actually play the class appropriately to its strengths, you're more than useless. More or less useless, I should say, but you get the point. So what I'm gonna do today, and what I aim to do today, is to teach you positioning, how I play large scale, how I fit warrior into a role, and just play my class. Usually for me, I do one of a couple things. I'm being a general nuisance on the battlefield by just grabbing people up, putting them on the floor, dropping as much, burst damage as I can with grave digging, slashing with the BSRs. I'm also going after squishy targets like archers, rangers, casters. I basically want to take the uncomfortable targets off the field. I just want to make sure that they can't do anything. I don't want them to peel. I don't want them to do anything. I don't want them dropping heals. I don't want them dropping damage into my ball. I want nothing. I want to make them so uncomfortable that they have to get away from me and stop dropping damage, and they have to focus on kiting. For reference, like just so you know, like I'm in like the best guild on the current console, like play at the moment at the time of this video in Sacred, and this is what like our average war scores look like. And as you can see, I'm at the bottom there, still first page, but I'm at the bottom there. And this was against like the third best guild in the game, Nameless, and then Way to the Dawn, Threat, and I think there was like two other guilds that I can't remember the name of that was there. But like it was against like decent guilds for the most part. And like like as a warrior player, this is like the peak, if I'm being honest. Like for a like 45-minute to an hour war, this is all I could do. Like 23-3. Like it's nothing to fucking be impressed at. Like you might be like, oh, the fucking kill death ratio is pretty good. I've heard that before. Doesn't matter. Like, yeah, the KD can be a little shiny, whatever you want to call it, but I don't like, it's not that good. Because like you could play another class that does what warrior does 10 times better, but I refuse to sell my soul for that shit. Let's talk about positioning first, okay? So I've already explained how I do things in just like a large scale setting. So how do I position for it? How do I posture for these kills? How do I posture up for like just being a general nuisance? Okay, so let's do a mock scenario. Where I'm standing is my ball. Where the dummies are over there, that is an enemy ball. Okay, my shot caller says, all right, PA dive, PA dive, PA dive. Okay, he's telling our ball to dive. He's not telling you, he's telling the ball. All right, if you're a ball warrior, which that's what I am a ball warrior, you have to understand that he is, when he says PA dive, that is for, the classes that actually dive in. Mind you, you are gonna dive, all right? Like that's gonna be a thing that you're gonna do, but you're gonna do it differently than what the other classes that are gonna do, okay? That when he says PA dive, what you're gonna see is Drax flying in, dropping their kit. You're gonna see Guardians dropping hundreds and Black Bloods. You're gonna see casters, teleporting in. If they're playing Awakening, they're gonna drop all that fucking fire shit everywhere, SA damage, all that extra shit. And then your archers and your rangers, believe it or not, I've had scenarios back when I was in Arsha, whenever Guido would shot call and he would say PA dive, like some of the archers would actually dive in. That is not the case. You do not do that. That is not a dive class. Like you got to understand, it's just a broad term. It's basically just, when a shot caller says PA diver to dive or to engage, whatever, it just means engage. Like it's not a literal like, all right, throw your life away, go kill yourself. Like that is not a thing that you're supposed to do. That's not real. The fact that like I still remember when that happened, and then like I had to have a conversation with that guy afterwards and just express to him, and it was like, listen, you're an archer. When he say PA dive, like that is, don't do that, please, I beg. Same thing for warriors. We're not a dive class, especially if you're an Awakening. In Suck, yeah, you can get away with that because we have a lot of SA damage and protected stuff that we can do. That's different. Awakening though, we do not have the kit that supports a dive. That is not a thing that we do. Instead, when our shot caller says PA dive and you see all the extra classes diving in and doing, you know, what they're supposed to, we are going this way around, trying to find archers and rangers that we can pick off the field, and you want to just get in there and just bada bing, kill them, and then you get out of there, back to the ball, and then guard your squishies, guard your archers, guard your rangers, and protect them with your life, and then peel for them, do whatever you got to do, and then stop counter divers. I do this all the time. So one more time, we're gonna go through it. Shot caller says PA dive. All right, I hear that. I see an archer, cool. Boom, boom, killed him. All right, we're going back to the ball. All right, here we go. I'm standing with my archers, rangers. A guy dives into my ball, grip him up, put him on the floor. He's dead. And then just keep peeling for my team and just making sure that everybody stays alive and making everybody uncomfortable. All right, my cooldowns are back, going back in. All right, cool. I see another archer. Boom, killed him again. All right, we're out of here. Back to the ball. Make sure our cooldowns, peel for everybody. You know, keep your eye out. Counter dive, just make sure that everybody's, you know, alive, and just that's what I'm doing. That's what it looks like whenever I do node wars. That is exactly what I'm doing. I go in, get a kill, maybe 2 kills, get out, back to my ball, rinse, repeat. That is all I'm doing. That's why my KD looks the way that it does, because I usually am trading like probably 2 kills every, you know, like time I engage. So that's usually what happens. And like whenever I'm engaging after my ball is already in there. Like I'm going in and I'm basically picking off the squishies during the skirmish. And I don't overstay my welcome. That is a great way for your KD to turn to shit, is just overstaying your welcome. You got to understand, whenever you're playing warrior, our core damage is grave digging, slashing, pulverized tempest. These are our main damage abilities. If we don't have any of that shit up, we are dust. We have nothing. We have nothing. There's no pre-awakened kit. There's no nothing. We can take a look at our awakening kit right now, okay? Look at this shit. All this, nonsense. The only things that matter: grave digging, slashing, pulverized, tempest. Heaven's Cleave can be good. Reckless Blow can be good. But like things like armor break, ankle break, overwhelm, these, no. Even solar flare, no. These are not damage abilities. These are like pre-buffs and primes and engages. Solar flare, this is an engage. Overwhelm, this is a buff. Armor break, this is a debuff. Ankle break, this is a buff. We are not using these to do damage. We use those abilities to enhance grave digging and slashing. Same thing for Pulverize and Tempest. We use all those extra abilities to buff these 4 abilities up. Even Reckless Blow. This is our T3 add-on, okay? Now, a lot of people think that a big portion of our damage comes from Reckless Blow. It does not. We do not one-shot people with Reckless Blow. Not only does Reckless Blow not do a shit ton of damage, it only does a lot of damage if like you hit somebody with the full charge. That's the only time it really does damage, unless you do some extra cancels. I was hoping somebody would be in the BA and I could actually fucking, you know, test and just quickly showcase that it does 0 damage, but there's nobody in BA1, so that's about right. But in general, if you just like hit reckless or whatever, like you just pop this, like this is going to do nothing. That does no damage. All it does is proc your T3 add-ons, which is cool. That's fine, but it's very unprotected. Now, even though you can see it has an SA, once you let it rip, no SA. It's like basically not having like Grim Reaper's Judgment. If you don't have that cord, the moment that you let it rip, 0 protection and you're gonna die. So doing this in a ball, the best way to do it is how I just did it right there, is use it with the iframe to keep it protected and reposition so that way you're out of the way. So like if you get like, let's say a knock on somebody, so like let's say you hit this right there, boom, you want to get there, reposition, go in for the damage, and then get out. That's what you want to do. You don't want to ever overstay. If that didn't kill him, you're not going to kill him. That's just get out. So realistically, even though Reckless is a really nice ability for our T3 add-on, it sucks. I've realized that it sucks. Like it genuinely sucks. It is one of the like ways that warriors get killed, and 90% of the time warriors get killed because they're trying to do this shit. When you do that, you're basically dead. Like if they're paying attention or just dropping SA per like CCs or something, even if you do the cancel, right? So overwhelm, block, cancel, reckless. there's a gap in that. And if you get caught in that gap, you're gonna die. So that's why I've adapted a style where I don't use reckless blow outside of like a reposition combo. So like like I said, if I CC somebody on the floor or whatever, this is how I'll do it, just to try and stay safe and then get the hell out of there. Like, I'll never overstay my welcome after using reckless blow. If I do rec into slashing, I'm out of there. Like that 90% of the time. Maybe if I'm feeling froggy, I'll throw a grave digging, but 90% of the time I'm leaving. Because if I was lucky enough to get the reckless off without the game fucking me with like the SA not working, or like just the I get caught in the gap, then like I'm not gonna overstay my welcome and blow my luck. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got lucky that I even got the ability off. The fact that I'm alive right now is nothing short of a miracle. So instead, the way I do things is I just dive in with solar flare balance and then overwhelm armor break. So that's what I do all the time. That's how I get 90% of my kills. That is literally 90% of my kills. So I find an archer or any squishy target, and anything, like whatever you feel comfortable doing. If you feel like throwing a wreck, that's fine. If you feel like just going into slashing, that's also fine. Like, there's a myriad of options that you can do, but like the idea here is you want to be able to drop damage as much as you can and then get out. And that's just how I get kills. Like, I'm not doing anything fancy. I'm not doing anything crazy. Like, it's just like positioning and being able to like, option select the right combo and being able to, kill people on the fly and then just reposition. Like, that's literally how you just in and out skirmish. And then every time you get out of combat, in terms of like you disengage from like getting a pick or two, you're disengaging into your ball, and then you're protecting your archers, your rangers, and that's how I play. That's what I do. I keep my main like fraggers alive, and then I dive in and remove theirs every now and then when I see an opportunity. That's it. That's what I do. That's how I play warrior. Nothing crazy, nothing special, nothing over the top, just simple. Dive in, get ones and twos, and then back out, protect my guys, back in, ones and twos, back out, protect my guys. It's not a glorious position, and it's not something that even can be fun, but you find fun in it. Like, I find fun in getting picks. I find fun in peeling for my teammates, and just having them, like, so sometimes if I peel for them and they see that shit, they'll say something in guild chat and be like, oh my god, you're a lifesaver, this, that, blah blah blah, whatever. And that's enough for me. If somebody's showing love for the peels, that's all I need to hear, because 90% of the time it is a thankless job. And if somebody acknowledges you, just be happy that somebody gave a shit, because 90% of the time they don't give a shit. And the last thing I want to talk about is the whole annoyance on the battlefield. I want you guys to understand this position right here, holding block, is the scariest thing on the battlefield. If there is a warrior that is just holding block on you, 90% of the time they don't know what to do, because if they don't have a grab, they can't just walk up and grab you, right? So you can just sit in here, and then they just stare at you and they're like, oh god, what's he gonna do? Is he just gonna fucking dive into me, CC me? Is he gonna grab me? Like, what's like this position where I am between me and this dummy? We call this the spooky zone. All right, this is big spooky, and the reason it's big spooky is because I can get to you in the blink of an eye. I'm not even like literally just fuck pop, goodbye, dead, you're dead. That's simple. It could literally be that fast. Like legit that fast. That's how easy it can be, and nobody ever expects it. And then I can get in there and grab you too. Just fucking pop. Guess what? Grab, dead, goodbye. That wasn't even fast either, by the way. That was slow. That was fucking slow. And the same thing goes for like just getting behind you. Let's say you're just holding a forward guard, right? And it's not an SA forward guard. Guess what? Goodbye. You're dead. Like, from this position right here where I'm standing, this is so scary for 90% of the classes in the game that don't have a grab, because there's nothing they can do other than run away. If you're one of those players that just freezes up in front of a warrior, just know I've already won. I've already won. The moment you stop moving and you just do this and we death stare at each other and we do the whole Mexican standoff thing, I have won. I'll show you a clip right now. Boom. Look at this shit. See that? I won because you're crazy. If you thought you could outblock the block god, that's impossible. Like, you can't win. So just holding block is enough to scare somebody away into just being like, you know what, that's not worth it. Like, I'm just gonna go back to what I was doing. I'm not going to risk getting grabbed. I'm not going to risk getting CC'd, because warrior in close combat melee, we win those. We win that shit. So most of the time, if they're smart, they will ignore us and turn around. If they challenge us, that's what we want, because we win those. Let's pretend this is a guardian in front of me, okay? I win that shit. Like, I win that. I'm faster than the guardian. Our class is just better than guardian when it comes to just dueling and melee combat. They're good at dropping protected damage into a ball and getting a lot of kills. We are good at stopping them from doing that shit. So the best way for the guardian to play this, if we're in this whole Mexican standoff thing, their best thing is to completely don't ego check me and try and fucking go for me, because I promise you, I'll win that. I will win that fight. So the best way to play that is just ignore me, and then if I'm dumb, I'll chase you, and that's when you have the advantage, because you're probably disengaging to your ball. If I overextend trying to chase you and ego you, then I've lost the battle, because now I'm playing your game. So like that's just the way to do things. Like don't play my game. You know what I'm saying? If I stand here and I'm holding block in front of you, you turn the fuck around, you go away, and you go back to your ball, because that's the only way you walk out of a respawn screen. Like that, like there's just, if you don't want to die, turn the fuck around. Don't try it. I promise you it will not go your way. If it's like a striker or something that is actually good in like one-to-one melee combat, that's a different story, because I can lose that just as easily as I can win that. So that's like, you know, whoever's just the better player wins that. But most of the time, people are uncomfortable by warrior. If they're stupid, they'll try you. If they're smart, they will turn around, disengage to their ball, and not try and ego check you in a fucking war. When it comes to playing node wars, you have to set the ego aside. I don't care if you see a player you have beef with or you don't like or whatever, let it go. It's about the dub. What hurts them the most is the fact that you're on the winning team. You killing them in the war serves no purpose, because if you kill them in that scenario and you still lose the war, it was all for nothing. So it's better for you to not play the ego game, set it to the side, play for the dub, objective, protect your team, kill the squishies, simple. Keep it that way and don't go too crazy, because the moment you start doing ego shit is the moment you start dying. So to recap, positioning. When your shot caller says PA dive, don't be an idiot. Don't dive in directly. Reposition on one of the flanks. Look for squishies. Get 1 or 2 picks. Get out. If your skill cooldowns, grave digging and slashing, if these abilities are down, leave, because you have 0 kill potential after that. I shouldn't say 0, but it's pretty low. So 90% of the time, just leave. Once you disengage after you're engaged, then you want to go ahead, go back to your ball, stand next to your squishies, keep your eyes peeled, make sure that, you know, nobody's diving into your ball. And if they are diving into your ball, that's your job to get them out of there. So let's say a Drac or striker dives into your ball and is harassing your squishies. That's your job. Get in there, grip that dude up, put him on the floor, and then put him down in the dirt. That's it. Once your cooldowns are back up, guess what? You're going right back to the flank, immediately going back in, and then just getting kills, and that's it. That's all you're doing, and then right back, disengage back to your ball. As a last recap thing, all you're gonna do whenever, like, if you want to just be weird and make people uncomfortable, just hold block in front of them, and they'll freak out. That's all you got to do, is just make them uncomfortable, make them think twice about diving, make them think twice about engaging. Mind you, if they're by themselves, they're stupid if they dive you. If they have people with them, they'll try you, but you still can win that. I still wouldn't test it, because again, no ego shit. It's cool if you 1vx, but like, don't do the ego shit. It's better to just, you know, backtrack, keep yourself safe, and then play with your team. Don't try that lone wolf crap, because that's just gonna get you killed. Just make everybody uncomfortable, make them think twice, and even if they try you, I mean, if you have people behind you that you want to fight with, that's fine. Just start gripping people up, putting them on the floor, and removing people off the field. Simple. You're only as strong as your team and your weakest link, realistically, but your team. Like, if your team is not following up with you, even if you want them to fight with you, right? If you're holding block and you see a ball engaging into you and you see your team retreating, 0 ego, you retreat back with them, and you're repositioning back all the time. You are not risking it. You are not risking it. You're out of there. And that's it. That's no nonsense warrior for large scale. Just get your picks, learn your cancels, you know, like learn your, you know, your quick cancels. Overwhelm is going to be your best friend, because it cancels literally everything. Practice every cancel that you can. Overwhelm grave digging, overwhelm slashing, overwhelm reckless, overwhelm whatever, doesn't matter. Even merciless. Merciless is a good one too. You want merciless as well, because merciless gives us crit damage. So whenever you're engaging on somebody, right, you know, you go in, boom, full combo right there, boom, and you're out of there. You want to master these combos because these are going to help you get in there, drop your kit, get damage, and then kill everybody and then get out. And also, as just a last bit of advice, don't ever play for the feed. Don't ever, if you see a juicy like 6-10 man feed where if you drop a 50 slashing, you can go for it. I won't fault you because I do it more often than I'd like to admit, but if you see that juicy feed, I want you to know the chances of you getting a 5+ kill like feed is very low. The chances are you're going to do 90% of the damage and an archer's going to fire into that crowd of players and they're probably going to take all your kills. So just keep that in mind. But yeah, if you have any questions, just feel free to ask. I'll do the best that I can to try and help you guys out. But that's how I play Largescale Warrior. If you want to learn more, just watch my videos. It's just watch how I move in Largescale. Just watch how I node war. When I duel, just try and mimic what I do. It's how I learned. I watched other players, took information and inspiration from a lot of different players. I'll put some links down below to some great montages that I personally watch on a regular basis, and maybe that'll help you guys out. But for the most part, that's it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.